early onset puberty has been linked to these, endometriosis, infertility.
Common hormone disruptors that are really in everyday products that are negatively impacting us as women.
Marketing can be heavily influenced by who pays for it.
If you're not pissing off one person a day, you're not doing your job.
How can we really look at transitioning into an eco-friendly environment?
What I love about the three of us is it's unfiltered, right?
Welcome to the Hot Flash Health Podcast, where we're dishing out unfiltered truth about menopause with a side of sass and a little sprinkle of crass. Get ready to dive into the wild world of hot flashes, mood swings, and all the other joys of being a queenager. Nope, this ain't your grandma's podcast. We're here to chat about our bodies, our passions, our fears, and desires while navigating this roller coaster ride of menopause. So grab a glass of wine or maybe a hard kombucha, kick back, and let's ride this hot flash wave together. I'm Courtney Mamuscia, alongside is my fabulous co-host Don Fable. We're two outspoken gals who aren't afraid to say how it is. And because menopause is just another chapter of life, we're here to help you write it your way. Now let's kick off today's call with Dawn introducing our amazing guest speaker. Go ahead.
Yeah, ladies, we're back together again. It's like the band is back together again. What a treat. What an amazing way to start my Friday to introduce our very, very dear friend. Courtney and I both know Kara Armstrong from many lifetimes ago, and it's such an honor to have you on the podcast today. Kara is an extraordinary human being. She comes from a very eclectic background with public health, a lot of research, entrepreneurship, experiential retail, and really creating such a cool company and really vision and microphone around conscious living and really helping save our environment while protecting our bodies. Kara is a beautiful mother of 2 children. She's a triathlete, which is cuckoo bananas because you won't see Courtney and I running for sure.
Nope.
And
maybe from somebody trying to kill us. Who knows?
She's a beautiful human being. So today we're going to talk with Kara about how to really live a conscious lifestyle and just all things. Kara is also not afraid to speak her mind. So it's perfect to have the three of us together, and love, love, love that we're in the same space. Welcome.
Thanks, ladies. I'm so glad to be here. So excited to be back.
So fun. So to give a little bit of insight, Kara, Courtney, and myself had all met several years ago when we were on this crazy entrepreneurial journey and each starting our own companies. And as entrepreneurs, as women, it can be a very lonely journey. And we were so fortunate to find one another and be able to, laugh and cry and everything in between and just support one another. But the most beautiful thing that came out of that was a friendship and truly the most utmost respect for one another. So you're badass, Kara. When I first met you, you're smart, you're cool, you're not afraid to say it how it is, and you know a lot about this conscious living and sustainable lifestyle and are so passionate about it.
Thanks, ladies. And here's the thing, what I love about the three of us is it's unfiltered, right? Like life is hard. Life does not seem to be getting easier as we think, oh, our kids are going to grow up, like we're going to have more time. That's like not real, right? Just layered things on. So I am so grateful for our friendship and that we can be real about all of this. And so even today, let's be real about our life and eco-consciousness and how that can be really hard too. But why does it matter?
Courtney is so real today that she's wearing an evening gown.
I did.
Kara,
We never get out of the house, so.
Yeah. You need your crown.
I
I
do need my
decided
crown.
to put on my boob and belly shirt, and Kara may or may not be wearing underwear.
We don't know.
Y'all, I am really shorted and professional on top. Like I'm embracing being.
What's that? Party, business in front, party down top, down bottom. Business up top.
Y'all, I owned retail during the pandemic. I didn't get to just wear nothing on my bottoms for Zoom calls. That was not a thing. Today,
Yeah.
embrace it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, embrace it now. Let's talk a little bit. I mean, obviously, we all want to be healthier and know that the environment is shit. And, we're hopefully trying to save it a little bit for our kids and their kids. But let's talk about some of the common hormone disruptors that are really in everyday products that are negatively impacting us as women and, our families and our husbands if we want them to survive.
Right? Yeah. That's one of the complicated things about menopause, right? Our hormones are already shifting. And then we have all these estrogens, which are chemicals and byproducts of the manufacturing process that can affect our estrogen receptors. Some of them are activating them more to produce more estrogen. Some of them are decreasing. So these things are changing our physiological functions as well as promoting disease. And when we're already on this freaking roller coaster of hormones, this is a whole nother space that can be slightly overwhelming for us, and knowing that these things can affect our kids too. Early onset puberty has been linked to these, endometriosis, infertility. These things are impactful, but it's also a really broad space and a space that can be really overwhelming. And when we're in all of this life changes from our bodies to dealing with kids, like Courtney, you have a high schooler now. You and I have a third grade daughter and then middle schoolers, right? Like we're in this evolution of our lives changing and our kids in places that can be really impactful. And sure, husbands, they're like nice side pieces too, and it affects them, but like we're in it. And looking at what we have in our homes can make a difference, but it also can be incredibly daunting. So xenoestrogens are really what I wanted to focus on today, because those are those hormone pieces that can affect our hormones, our kids' hormones, our husband's hormones. And some of the big ones around there are BPA, which we all heard tons about probably about a decade ago when they made a big push to get them out of water bottles. The bisphenols, they are known to be hormone disruptors. They're out of a lot of things these days, but you can still find them in personal care products. You can still find them in home products, but there was a lot of activism around that. And that sort of started this whole cleaner lifestyle movement, was bisphenols and getting them out of they were really known for Tupperware. I still encourage people that can to use glass in their homes instead of plastics, because one, then you're not microwaving them. And if you know me, you know I'm crazy, and I think like everything went sideways when we invented the microwave, because fast convenience and garbage was sort of created from the microwave. So that's like one of the easiest things in my opinion. Go to Costco and just buy freaking glass containers to microwave your shit in. Then phthalates, those are like these plasticizers and they bind things. So that's when you go into an elevator and you smell this guy with something like Hugo Boss, which I can't confirm has phthalates, but like you're choking, right? Like you can barely breathe, or you walk out being like, I now have a migraine, thanks homie. That's can be from phthalates. And those are, again, an estrogen disruptor. You can walk into some of your friends' houses and be like, oh snap, my head hurts. It's the fragrances, which are pretty packed with things like phthalates. And dioxins is another, and that's a byproduct. And that one is kind of difficult to figure out, like, are you being exposed to those or not? Because it's from manufacturing processes. But these three things, BPAs, phthalates, dioxins, are some of the heavy hitters for things that can disrupt our hormones for our kids and for ourselves. And so those are the three that I think are places where people should really prioritize. And they're easier to find these days. Everything has to be disclosed about BPA. Phthalates is a big buzzword. And so you'll find candles that are like phthalate free and perfume phthalate free. People are really labeling those things better because America has been like non-toxified all over Instagram to be more conscious of these things. And then dioxin is
it's like gluten-free. Gluten-free now is like now thyroid.
Yes, exactly. People are being more transparent. A lot of companies are testing their fragrances. So anyone can DM me, by the way, and ask these things. I don't openly like post anymore about these things, but a lot of companies, you can email them and be like, are your fragrances phthalate free? And they've had testing done to confirm that phthalates aren't in those. And I've regularly demanded those results. And then dioxins is just, you really got to find good companies that are testing for that. And that one's a little harder. So again, if you're trying to be better, but not perfect, don't sweat that one. And the last one is parabens. So I think a lot of people don't know that for personal care and cosmetics in the United States, if you have water as an ingredient, you have to have preservatives in it. So that's important to know. It's required to have water, which can cause mold, cause bacteria, all these things. So you need a preservative in it. And natural is not a regulated word, and organic is not regulated words in the cosmetic world. So when someone's like, I use all natural, so they don't have preservatives, pat on the back, good for you, but everything has to have some kind of preservative. There are preservatives, but there are also non-natural, synthetic ones. And parabens are one of those that there is research out there can create hormone disruption, particularly around estrogen. And paraben is really easy to find on a label because it's literally the last half of the word. So when you turn a label around, you can see methylparaben. All right, cool. If I have another option that doesn't have that in it, I'm going to choose that. So those are really the four that are the easiest, like the big hitters that are take home as estrogen disruption. Let's try and alleviate those from our personal care and our home.
This is why we don't need to have Tupperware parties, sex parties instead, and just walk around not smelling good or wearing anything on our face. Au naturel, y'all.
Okay, luckily, again, we have moved into this world of non-toxic shaming and major advocacy. You can actually still smell good and you can still put things on your face.
I know.
But it does take work, which is kind of exhausting when you're doing all the other shit.
So talking about putting things on your face and putting things in you, like when it comes to, let's say, a sex party, right? We menopausal women are losing our libido, so need all the help that we can get. What's safe to put inside you there? Like what do we need to look for there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think looking at the plastics again is a big thing. And I can't tell you the exact plastic right this second because I didn't research it because you didn't prepare me to talk about vibrators. But
sorry. We always talk about vibrators.
It's true. I should have done my freaking research.
So
it's metal, right? So we're closer. But looking at the ingredients in your lubes, right? We're all drying out, or maybe not if you're lucky. But looking at the ingredients in that, again, one of those big ones is going to be parabens. And the fragrances that are used in a lot of lubes. Those are the two you can be more conscious about. Every store is getting a lot better at figuring out like their clean lines. Start there. Start at going to Target or wherever you go and see what they have that's cleaner because they usually market it.
But that's the problem, right? Like marketing.
Yes.
Marketing is a big gimmick oftentimes.
100%.
And from my understanding, there's not a tremendous amount of regulation around what you have to say and what you can't say, certainly in comparison to Europe. So really, in some of the ingredients that you're talking about, how do we get through the marketing noise? And are there icons that we look for on products that we buy? Are there, claims that we need to be aware of?
Yeah. So the big marketing symbol that you can see is the EWG. It's like this swirl of green. EWG, there's a lot of discussion around them. Are they good? Are they not? Like there is a pay to play element to EWG that I think has grown over the last couple of years and made me a little more jaded, but they have an app called Healthy Living. You can scan most of your products on that and it's going to tell you what those ingredients are. Do I agree with all of their ratings? Not, but anything that's a 3 or less on EWG, I'm comfortable using. Like there's some preservatives that there's questions about, but they're better than parabens. And they'll rate that really high. But in my opinion, that's not as toxic and not as terrible for you. And so I'm okay with that. So anything that's a 3 or less on EWG, I will use. And again, that's an easy app. You can be that crazy lady like me that scans things at Target. And it's like, oh, okay, all right, I'll use that. But that is a label that you can use pretty consistently as a resource when you're shopping. And again, it's pretty convenient. You use your Target app to see if it's on sale because it's freaking expensive. And then you will scan your next one to see like, oh, it's actually pretty clean.
As we're becoming more green and caring more about things, and I really do believe what you said. It's like our kids are getting their cycles earlier and there's a lot of things happening, maturing earlier. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't get that till later. And I'm a big believer in a lot of things that we put in our bodies, and the environment is causing cancer. I've lost both parents to cancerous challenges. So how can we really look at transitioning into an eco-friendly environment for ourselves and for our homes without really feeling overwhelmed, because it seems like it would be a big fucking deal. And, I'm not like you. I'm not going to pick up everything and read the label, but I applaud you for that. But just knowing, and how can we make this more consumable for people like me?
Absolutely. I think, again, it's a really daunting place. And I think starting small, right? When I formed the Conscious Merchant, it was a place of small steps in progress. And don't be that person that throws everything away and starts from scratch, because that's just not real, right? Like, you're still, find the things that you use the most. I have actually a workbook. I'll put it on Kara Armstrong MPH. People can download it. That's like how to transition. And it's go through it. See what you use the most in your life. Like, if your daughter, Emmy, loves Bath and Body Works lotion, that's probably one of the top things she probably stopped using, right? Like, so many synthetic, I'm going to totally get sued. So many synthetics in B&B. Walk by it, you can smell it, right? And so my daughter also was like, I want smell good lotion. And you put that all shit all over your body, right? And so here we have these little rules. So look at the things you're most commonly using and start there. So your mascara is probably not going to kill you tomorrow. So let's put that lower on our list. But what we're putting on our lips, like our daughters are eating that, right?
Yeah.
We're probably putting it on.
And we are.
Right. So like, look at those things that are the most prevalent in your house. If you love your house to smell good, let's stop putting a plug-in in that's toxic. Look at some of those companies that are phthalate free for their plugins, which again, DM me, I can give you a list. Maybe I can even create one that's accessible to people on what to buy. But look at your candles. Everyone freaking gifts candles and burns them all the time. A lot of those have dangerous chemicals. Look at the things that you use the most. Start there. Make that list if you can in 20 minutes, right? Don't spend your whole life on this. Then, like, what's your budget? I think that's a really hard part, is a lot of this feels like inaccessible to a lot of people. And so what is that going to look like? Like, okay, I can change up by $15 every 2 months on shifting something. Cool. Let's figure out highest priority, low, best cost, and just do it that way slowly as to what you see. I'm a big person. When I started the business, a lot of people were like, this is so daunting. And I ordered 5 things off Amazon and I hate all of them. Yeah. Go and ask your friends. Like, don't have a Tupperware party, but if you go to Dawn's and she's got all these stasher bags, like, homegirl, what are these? And ask her if she likes them. And she might be like, no, it's total garbage, but I ordered it on Amazon. Cool, then I won't do it. But like, lean in. Again, you can follow the Conscious Merchant. There's a lot of reels on things we used to do, because that was all experience, touch, see, and experience, and see if it fits in your life. But that's really what I would do. Look at the heavy hitters in your life. If they're accessible and affordable, mattresses are a thing. They're too expensive. I didn't put a clean mattress in my house, and I've been doing this for 5 years until this year, because it's freaking expensive. Air purifiers, they're great. Some of them are $3,000, right? Go find one that's pretty well rated, that's affordable. Like, there are things that, yes, it's not perfect, but it's progress and making those small steps. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, I mean, so good. I remember like 5 years ago when this was a thing, when you were actually selling shit out of your car. Like, you were legitimately going to events and people's homes and neighborhoods because you were so passionate about this and you really wanted to share your knowledge and your experiences with others. So kudos to that, first of all. But back to 5 years ago, we were all shopping at Whole Foods or Vitamin Cottage or any of those things where those items were more prevalent, or very specialty stores, or trying to support local merchants. Have you found that more of the mainstream big boxes and even online are getting more leaning into this? And what stores do we look at for this stuff? I mean, does Amazon support these types of things? Is Target embracing these? Like, can you find it at the local grocery store? Because you see all these brands that position themselves as clean, right? Like a Meijer, for example. They're not clean, is what I'm hearing.
No, anyone that is excited for the fall marketing on the new scents from Meijer's, pause, please don't buy that. But yeah, you're right. And so it's a thing. When I started to close down the Conscious Merchant, one of those reasons is because my clean companies were going and doing more direct sales, direct marketing. So like my favorite laundry powder, you can buy on Amazon now. And in the pandemic, everyone just relied on Amazon, right? So a lot of them are directly linked to Amazon these days, or just doing direct to consumer. I love Branch Basics. It's freaking amazing. I begged them a million times to let me carry that as bulk in the store. And they're like, nope, we're only direct to consumer. So some of these brands you're going to find online, and that's the way you do it. And Amazon, again, is a big hitter for a lot of them now. And then I would say when I walk into a grocery store, I don't find clean things. I don't think that shift has been there in personal care and cleaning products. They have their own organic lines of food. They haven't really shifted dish soaps, detergents, those things. You might find one, and unfortunately, that might not work for you. So the grocery store is not where I found these products to really shine and be accessible. Target's doing better for sure. Whole Foods does a lot of it. I go in there all the time, like, oh, I carried that, and I carried that, and I carried that, and I carried that. So I was like, well, I can't compete against Bezos. But so there is a shift. But a lot of the great products you find they're directly selling on Amazon.
Yeah. Let's talk about the whole thought process around eco living and non-toxic. And I'm sure you've dealt with this for many years. We even mentioned it earlier, but there are a lot of fucking haters out there. And I'm sure you've dealt with a lot of shaming. We even talked about your 2 a.m. messages coming in. I mean, how do we maintain this non-toxic lifestyle all out, like without falling into this trap of non-toxic shaming?
100%. And I think that's where I had a big shift. I was telling you guys before this, I was like, by the way, I'm going to tell you that I think there's a lot of bullshit during the pandemic. We were all really overwhelmed. And I felt like the noise around non-toxic living got louder with the louder of everything else too. And it's like you're non-toxic slut shaming, right? And I understand like it's health and people feel really compelled and interested and passionate about it. But a lot of people also don't fact check. So on your Instagram, when you see that a cell phone in your bra is going to give you breast cancer, which is like currently circulating, pause. Like just because you see it on the social doesn't mean it's real. And one person sees it, they screenshot it. That's amazing. I'm going to share that because I need content. When we live in this very social world of facts, just stop and pause for a second about it. Because it might not be something you got to get worked up about. Like, don't lose sleep because you put your bra. I know you, Dawn. Don't worry. That cell phone sitting in your bra. Right?
It's not.
Just tape it on the outside.
Taking a moment and pausing and being like, the world is probably not going to end tomorrow over this fact because it might not even be a fact. And embrace that, like, I'm doing what I can do. Do you guys watch, are you like Baz Luhrmann people? I'm a Baz Luhrmann junkie, like Gatsby, Moulin Rouge. Okay. So one of his early movies, a quote in it is, a life lived in fear is a life half lived. And I love that quote because we can be paralyzed over all this shit. And what does that serve you? Then you've got more mental stress. You have less sleep. You have higher cortisol. Taking it a step back and be like, okay, I've done the things that I can do. And you might do better, maybe. That's how you see it. That doesn't matter that's not my thing. And I've also found that in this sort of world, when I get triggered by someone saying something or seeing something, it's related to my values and what my goals are, and they're not aligned. So I just take a second to be like, why did that make me so upset? Oh, it's because that was actually a goal and I haven't done it, or because it doesn't align with my values to care that much about that. Cool, let it go, right? And I think that's a lot of this eco living piece, is that do what you can, because if you're paralyzed, you won't do anything and you won't move the dial.
That's such great advice. And it's like baby steps, right?
Yes.
Because this can be so overwhelming and there can be so much judgment out there, and we have so much access to information. So like, how do we differentiate that information? With that being said, are there a couple resources or website or tools that like you might lean in towards to try to declutter this information?
So I really like the Endocrine Society. They're actually a bunch of researchers and academics And I think that one's really relevant here because they look at endocrine disruptors and they publish a lot of really great work around that. CSF, University of California, San Fran, has an amazing public health department. They do a lot of research around hormone disruption. They're the ones that published the great article about research about Latina girls, the estrogens in their life when they had certain personal care, and then they changed them and they measured that and saw the exposure really made a difference. So they do some really great research around it. Harvard is really good. I would look at Harvard's public health department. They also talk a lot about this. And so those are some of my top resources. As I go look at those three, again, endocrine.org, they are really thorough in telling you exactly. They have some great like diagrams too, that you can see just a plain old picture of like, these are the main hormone disruptors. So they're my favorite.
That'd be good for me.
Right? I mean, and I think like, and a lot of the nonprofits, I love, like EWG has a really good mission. Safer Cosmetics, really good mission. But again, they're nonprofits funded by certain groups, right? So y'all are in marketing. You know that marketing can be heavily influenced by who pays for it and who does it. And so I have found those public health departments to be places that truly care and might not have all the dollars, like the milk industry.
I'm going to throw you another curveball that wasn't on our pre-questionnaire, but
I know we've
I'm
got
just
all
thinking
sorts of curveballs.
I know. I'm just thinking a little bit about sustainability as a whole and kind of your take on how corporations are really addressing this issue. And, you know, you're looking at it as a in-home, what's going on in your body, but now that you're doing in-home staging and really helping people revamp their space, we're thinking about other companies that are like really falling into the sustainability act and in this movement. So how do you feel us as a planet are really embracing this, and are we making moves?
You guys are gonna get hate mail. I think it's
don't send her hate mail.
You want to have a nice conversation in here for it. But I think, again, sustainability has become a really big buzz. You guys remember I used to do like the Sustainable Fashion Conference, where we would have local people come talk about sustainability in their fashion, because the fashion industry is super gross. I'm guilty of it, right? That's my coping. That's my form of art, is wearing clothes. So I've had to like change to renting.
Except for today on this podcast where you're wearing underwear.
Right? Well, booty shorts, girl. They're booty shorts.
It's made of bamboo.
Exactly. Thank you. I do actually. I think that again, it's a tough place, and there are people making efforts. There are some scales that like some. None of us are probably going to go sit there and read, but like you can put numbers in or see businesses have evaluated like this is our emissions and this is this. A good place, Lindsay Dahl. So Lindsay, LINDSAYDAHL. She used to be a beauty counter. She's now at Ritual, the supplement company. She's like incredible when it comes to sustainability. That's what she does for brands. So people can follow her or check her stuff out. Lindsay is like, she'll tell you exactly how to figure out if someone is sustainable or not. But again, it is a big buzzword. We're doing more for accountability around it. But that one's still a hard one to figure out. Like, are they being sustainable or not? And so that's where.
I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm following Salesforce because Matthew McConaughey is the trailblazer there. So anything that he's doing, I'm like, I'll buy Salesforce.
Right? I'll do whatever, Matthew.
And your tequila.
As long as you talk to
All right.
But I think that's where there's this big debate. Like, we have to hold the corporate companies accountable. Yeah, totally. But that doesn't mean like we also can't do little things at home to teach our kids. Yeah. So like, because that's not going anywhere. It's just getting bigger and bigger. So I think there's that balance. Like, I can do things. Yes, I should hold corporate accountable, but I can't just deflect it to them and be like, it's all us on. Yeah. It's all of it.
Take on accountability.
Totally. You're such a wealth of knowledge, and you know, it's so much easier for me to pick up the phone or text you and be like, hey, what brands do you admire? Not to put you on the spot, but obviously you've done a lot of research around this. You don't want to give away your entire, box of tricks, but are there a couple of companies that you really admire for either their ingredients or their vision or their commitment to sustainability or any of those things that you might feel worth mentioning?
So Melioria is a cleaning product company. I am obsessed with them. I love them. When we owned the stores, they would actually take back the giant tubs and not like they still to this day I still find them in my storage and they're like, yeah, we'll take them back and reuse them. And they have really clean and effective cleaning products. For people, I used to have customers that were like, I have tried 7th gen, I've tried all of these clean laundry detergents, and my kid's eczema is still out of control. Melioria has a powder. There's a preservative called methylezolone. It's not like a super toxic, but it's a skin irritant. So kids with eczema or adults with eczema, it's going to still irritate your skin. And they have a laundry powder that's incredible that doesn't have those preservatives in it. And kids have found so much success in not having their eczema as bad with them. So I love them. Branch Basics is a couple homegirls from Austin created another great cleaning product, super effective. Love them. For personal care, I really like Juice Beauty. It's one of my favorites. I love Beauty Counter too, and they're in their weird new evolution. But Juice Beauty, you can get at Target and Ulta and get all your points. I've really enjoyed their products. What are some? Again, I will stress the nice lady with the pumpkin scent. That's a cleaning product you'll find in all main caps at Target. I don't like her, and her marketing is on point to make you believe it's clean and it's not. So if you're going to get rid of a product line, that's what I would recommend. Everyone, that's a brand. They sell shampoo and lotion. You can get them at natural grocers. You can order them on Amazon. I think they're a great product and an affordable product for our girls that are like lathering themselves in Bath and Body Works. Everyone has a lot of scents and come in giant containers. So our daughters can use as much lotion as they want and it's cleaner. I think those are like my top not secrets that I talk about all the time.
Yeah.
Have you found any like natural deodorants? Like that's always what I'm wondering because I can't find any that work. And
okay, I will put some in the mail for you. There is this company that I love, and of course, right this second I'm going to space on the name, but it's these two awesome sisters out of Canada. And they have there's a paste version, which not everyone loves the paste version, and then they have sticks, and I love them. Another one that you can pick up at Natural Grocers and Sierra Trading Post is out of Taos. Hold on, let me look it up. Sorry, y'all.
I knew you were going to say that paste. It's like putting toothpaste in your armpits.
Yes.
Is it?
I've never even done it. So good. People would come into the Conscious Merchant. They'd be like, this stuff is expensive. And I'm like, it is, but you don't need much. And it smells good. And they'd come back and be like, okay, you were right. And be, yeah, I'll give you a sample and you're going to come back. And they did.
We need to have like shopping with Kara.
Totally.
We never really I never really marketed it very much because my clients were really needy. Hopefully they don't ever watch this. But I
no hate mail.
I had a consulting company where I would walk through your home, or people that did like heavy metal and non-toxic screening reports. I would go through those and be like, I bet you get your laundry done at a dry cleaner. And she's like, how do you know? And I'm like, because you have these chemicals raging through your body. And she's like, I do. And I was like, yeah, I know.
Interesting.
And so I would look at their results and help them figure out their shopping.
So that actually brings up an interesting point. How do we as human beings know that we have these chemicals in our body? I mean, aside from not feeling well and listening to our female intuition and, maybe seeing a functional medicine doctor here and there, but what are some telltale signs that we're really have too much of this in our system?
Totally. And I think that's one of the saddest things. I don't think Americans know what feels good. I think most of us don't know what it feels like to feel healthy. I think a big one it's hard to like causation and correlation are two really different things, right? So is my dry cleaning causing it, or is it just a correlation irony that's happening? Brain fog was a big thing for me. I don't know if you knew my original story, but I was having terrible brain fog, couldn't function, and I would like to think I'm a very high functioning human. And I got my lab reports back and was like, oh my gosh, my rubber is so high. And I was like, it has to be my cheap memory foam pillow off of Amazon. I was like, that is the only thing that makes any sense. I threw it away. Should have kept it to test it. 2 weeks later, my brain fog was gone.
Wow.
And it was you should have known it was a $10 memory foam off of Amazon. Like, that's clearly probably garbage.
But how do you get lab tests to test you for rubber?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you can walk into your LabCorp and be like, hey, I'd like to test for rubber.
Right. No. So there's like your naturopaths and your functional medicine doctors are really good at running these labs for you. They'll do a whole panel. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what the company is that they use, but I've used to have that done every year. So I would like my styrene was really, really high and made changes and eliminated those things, but they can test for you. I was falling asleep at the wheel. I had terrible brain fog. I was a hot mess post my second child. And I was like, I have to get back of the car and I'm literally falling asleep at the wheel. This is a problem. And so I went to a functional medicine doctor and I started having these things looked at. Okay, so the deodorant's called Humble. They're out of Taos. It's like $7. They're a cleaner option too. But yeah, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. And most of us don't, it's not accessible to find out these things. So a lot of it's trial by error, which again, can feel expensive and daunting. So I would make those big things in your life first. And again, anyone can drop in a DM, shoot me an email, Kara Armstrong mph.com. And I will do my best to answer a couple of your questions for you.
You're never going to forgive us because your IG is going to start blowing up. Like, hey, what dryer balls should I use? What? Which, yeah, that is one thing that was so easy that you really encouraged me to do 5 years ago is use those dryer balls and then use an essential oil with the dryer balls. And that is one simple thing that you taught me that I could implement in my life, which is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I agree. I do.
It's again, it's some of the smallest steps. And once you feel empowered with that one, like, hell yeah, got that one figured out, then you move to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was juggling those bad boys all around.
Yeah, you were. Lindsay's still texting me being like, where can I get dryer balls for a client? I'm like, not me.
Amazon, babe.
Right?
Speaking of, balancing, we're all juggling so much. It's so hard when, we're preaching to the choir here, right? We're all trying to build things and keep things sustaining. And, I look at you and you have this great business and you had you started working as a connector to connect people. And I think, again, that's why Dawn and I have created this whole community, because we want people to understand like what might be going on with them and have an easy place where they can come and learn and talk and feel connected. How are you personally learning how to juggle all this? I mean, you're a mom of 2. I saw you woke up at 5 a.m. the other day and did some running or some triathlete shit. Like, I don't know, good for you. Kudos. How do you balance all of this? I'm like, I'm sleeping until 7. Good luck making your own lunch, kid.
I make my kids make their lunch. I think, right? Like,
all right.
I realized a couple of years ago, and I think you two are people that empowered that, is that I used to worry people don't like me because I'm being honest. And so when you ask me how my day is, I'm like, it's terrible. Thanks for asking. Like, look at the laundry on my fucking bed. Sorry, I don't know if you can say that word here. Right? Like, my life is a shit show, and being able to say that. And if people are like, oh, she's really negative, I'm not negative. I'm honest. Like, we don't talk about the imperfections in our life. And I have chosen to embrace that. And if it's the right community for me, the right people for me, they're like, hell yeah, look at my laundry pile too, right? I have those friends now. Or I'll post something and they're like, OMG, is that real? I'm like, it totally is. Fuck me. It's building that.
It's refreshing, I think.
What?
It's so refreshing to have people like you ladies that are speaking outwardly. Like, yeah.
Because it's exhausting. It's exhausting to compare yourself to something that's probably not real. And if it is real, like, that's amazing. Good for you. That I can't do that. And let's be friends, or you're gonna make me feel like shit. So I'm not gonna you find your peeps. Right. And it's being authentic. Like, we've moved into our 40s, which everyone says is like a thing. It is, right? You don't give as much shit. And I think it's finding the authentic conversation and being real in a nice way. It doesn't have to be rude, but like being willing to accept when someone's like, no, actually my day sucks. I'm sorry. That is terrible. Do you want to get tea? What can I do? and I'll call you tomorrow or text you tomorrow. So I'm not going to be like, oh, bad juju walking away. Like, no, it's life, right? We're doing it together.
We talked a lot about on a previous podcast that we had the power of feminine energy and intuition. And I feel like it takes us a moment, right, to find that and to feel comfortable in that. But there's so much of what you're saying, Kara, that is really true, because you have to listen to your intuition. You have to surround yourself with people who appreciate your authenticity. You're not for everyone, and really feel that energy and intuition. And if something and someone doesn't feel right for you, that's okay to actually say like, hey, fuck it.
It's okay.
And so I think, so many women look at menopause or aging as a negative thing because, we aren't feeling optimal. We're struggling with, our sexual health, our mental health, our hormonal health, our physical health, our bodies are changing. But at the same token, if we flip the switch a tiny bit, it's also a very cool moment in our lives to feel very empowered and sort of this awakening of like, I am this person, and for once in my life, I actually know what I want, and I'm not afraid to speak it, and I'm not afraid to set those boundaries for myself and start to really embrace that authenticity. So not to dismiss, it also is a really hard time in our life, but I feel like there's something really empowering to be like, hey, I'm not your cup of tea, fuck off, right?
Right.
So
okay,
thank
I'm
you.
not gonna call on it. Like, there's plenty of other people to run at 5 a.m. with me around the track. Doesn't have to be Courtney.
Yeah, Courtney and I are not those people.
The booze and later. Cool. Like, there's a time and place for everyone in their life. Yeah, and it's getting comfortable with that.
If you ever call us at 5 a.m., P.S., I'm going to hang up on you.
I'm going to send you a nudie pic.
I know for a fact the only thing that I run to is my semi-glutide shots or my, tequila by Matthew McConaughey, but whatever.
You know it.
Yeah, don't worry. I know who my people are that I can text at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Girl. So, okay, I know we've been sort of all over the place today, but you're so fascinating, and I feel like we need like a monthly Kara time to
We'd love to have
spread your wealth and knowledge and all of the things.
Yeah.
What is your advice for, aside from maybe not slathering yourself in Bath and Body Works for children, right? I mean, my daughter walked out the door this morning to go to the dentist of all places, and she smelled like a streetwalker, like because of that nonsense. Food, lunchboxes, water bottles, products. What is your high-level advice for us as parents as to what we can do for our children to limit the impact of this?
Yeah. I am a huge stickler for metal water bottles for my kids. Like, that's BPA has decreased. Sure, I think that's incredible. But like, think about your plastic sitting out at recess in the sun. One, your water's gonna taste like garbage, right? And two, like, that's a place that it was an easy switch. You can find metal water bottles like everywhere, and I let them jazz them up with stickers and do all those things. But that was a big one for me, was just switching that plastic out of their life. We use a lot for sustainability with your kids. We use like zipper reusable lunch sack, like snack packs. Mm-hmm. They're cute. They're so much more fun than a plastic bag anyways. So it's a pretty easy switch as long as you can teach them not to throw them away. So usually like 3rd grade, you can pretty much trust that they're not going to put that really adorable $12 bag in the trash. And I really like metal lunch containers too. They're easy to clean for one, and they don't break, and they don't start to disintegrate in the dishwasher because they're made of plastic. Like, your plastic eventually looks like worn, like it has sandpaper all over it. Like, a metal one doesn't ever look like that. It will last freaking forever. So those, I think, are really easy switches. Lunchbox is a great brand. They're on Amazon exclusively now. They don't even sell to wholesalers. So that's like one of those easy online purchases. And I think, again, like our kids, just teaching them a lotion and shampoo. Like those are the two things that they use the most of. Just start them small.
Or we could just like swap it out and not tell them.
They're never going to freaking know, right? Like,
They'll never know.
I don't know.
Put it in the
maybe.
Salon Selective bottle. Remember that
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
that like smelled like apple pie that we all used
Yes.
when we were teenagers? Gross.
yes, I know. I had friends years ago be like, well, when Scarlett, which you guys know, my bougie third grader, when Scarlett's like a teen, she's gonna want like the lip smackers. I'm like, she is, and she's also going to know that when she shows it to me, she's gonna be like, I can't have this, right? And it's true. That's like a thing. She's like, I can't have this, can I? I'm like, nope, you can't. Oh, my life's terrible. But
You're the like non-fun mom, but keeping them alive longer.
hey, there's lots of fun in this house. It's just not lip smackers. Right? And so
Is that the stuff that had the container where you would slide it? Like, remember you could like slide it and it was like
so many cool things about the 80s. There were.
Yeah.
so many.
So many.
Exclamation.
I miss
I
the
wonder
80s.
how many toxic products were in that white and remember that white and black exclamation perfume?
Yes. Or the whole Calvin Klein line. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 But I mean, like,
Well,
we've learned, right? And do what you can.
Yeah.
And have candid conversations with them. It doesn't mean mean, but like, mom's trying to keep you safe. Like, I want you to feel good when you're my age. So I think this will make you feel better. So you're going to use this. And when you're 18, you can go buy whatever the hell you want.
And I would imagine for water bottles, right? Because there's a brand that's popping up left and right and become very trendy, and they have accessories for this brand. And apparently, when you drink out of the straw of this particular brand, it makes you look like you smoked like 5,000 Virginia Slims in college. Metal water bottles as well.
Girl, we can go down the rabbit hole
The rabbit
of
hole.
testing. Right, there was this whole big thing 4 years ago, and where someone was like, I tested the bottom of my water bottle, my kid's water bottle, and it tested positive for lead. And it like spiraled on the gram. I don't know if you guys remember this. And so I went and bought the
And
lead
then you
test.
found her house and you bitch slapped her.
No, I mean, but people like, it's a buzzword, right? It's like, again, fact check what you read, because yes, it was a seam on the outside of the water bottle that had a lead binding around it that, like, unless your kid is licking the bottom of a water bottle, it was not going to affect them. Like, the inside of the bottle was totally sealed and didn't have the lead.
Insulated.
And right, like, we caused massive chaos on the gram over the little tiny round dot at the bottom of it that wasn't covered by paint that no one should be looking anyways. So do what you can. I'm sure that company is going to respond and either will correct it or debunk it. And if they don't, then choose not to use it. But like, it's so easy to find something wrong with almost anything. I can sit around with you and tell you every single thing that I've ever seen that's like, okay, well,
let's stick to like the positivity. There are things out there that work, and there are things that you should avoid.
And hold the companies accountable. Like, it's great in that situation. Yeah. People are saying this, and hopefully they will respond. It's the same thing with the pads, the reusable pads that had the toxic chemicals in them. Like, that company has responded. That company has done testing. They've made that available for everyone to see and make their decisions around. Like, we are holding companies accountable to these things, and a lot of them are responding because we're getting really loud.
Well, thank you for being
Thank you so much.
Loud and knowledgeable and awesome.
Yeah. And we will have you back for sure.
Yeah. Throw it on my calendar. I am happy to chat about anything. I'm sure you guys will get comments about this, good and bad, or questions. And I'm always happy to answer them again in the future when we have another candid conversation.
I had a mentor once tell me in life, if you're not pissing off one person a day, you're not doing your job. So here we are.
I love that. I'm going to put that on my mirror in like very big words.
My mom also says if you're looking for sympathy, you can find it in between shit and syphilis in the dictionary. So keep that one in your back pocket.
My mom is one of my faves.
how do people find you? What is next for
Totally.
Kara Armstrong? I know you have some things in your cute little entrepreneurial self clicking.
Yeah, I left starting a women's co-working space last year and was like, I'm just going to relax. And everyone's like, I give that 6 months. I've done it a year. I did it a year. I made it a year.
Good job.
Before I started itching and dying to build new things. So you can find me at karaarmstrongmph.com, where you'll see all the millions different of hustles and passions. There, again, I have that staging company here in the Denver metro area that's using secondhand, really cool vintage pieces to tell the stories of homes. Every house is different because we all go on Zillow and see the same Longhorn photo on every wall, which I own because it's just hilarious to have it. But creating unique stories and having a circular economy around it is one of my latest projects. That site will also have bundles of home cleaning products if you want a central location to buy the things that I love that you will also find in any home I stage. That's coming soon in the near future. I do a lot of consulting, managing. If you have interest in cleaning life and you want it simple, I have workbooks that you can download on there, and I will happily answer 2 or 3 emails at no cost to you because I love helping people. I think it's fun. And I'm sure other things will pop up in the next couple months. So you can follow me on Instagram, Kara Armstrong MPH. You can go to the Conscious Merchant on Instagram and scroll through the previous information. I won't be maintaining new information on there because it's exhausting. But yeah, places you can find me.
Well, we are so thrilled to have you here today and want to thank you for your time and for your friendship over the years, and just congratulate you on your amazing badass self for continuing to ignite your own passions and creativity inside and helping us all live more healthy, sustainable, eco-friendly lives in everything that you touch and do. So
I appreciate
thank you to you.
And anyone that doesn't personally know these two, they're incredible, and you should.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll say that's a wrap for today's episode. Remember, menopause may be a wild ride, but together we've got this. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Hot Flash Health. Stream and subscribe to us on YouTube and Spotify, and share your thoughts with us. We love hearing from our fabulous listeners. Until next time, stay sassy, stay fabulous, and keep those hot flashes in check.